Hello, good day. So good to be with you as always. I hope you had a nice Christmas. Okay. This week, of course, there are two important feasts. First of all, this Friday, the Solemnity of Mary, the Mother of God. Two things I'd like to bring out and go quickly through. From the second reading, when the fullness of time had come, God sent his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to ransom those under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. One way, at least I see it, understand this, is that Jesus, God, chooses one of us, one of humanity, Mary, to enter into humanity, to become one of us, to become human, not leaving his divinity, but adding humanity. But the other side is, through Jesus, the door to divinity has been opened up to us. That is, we now have the possibility, by joining our lives with the Lord, to become sons and daughters of God the Father, now and forever, and so to some extent share in the divinity of God. The second thing I just want to bring up, because this reading has been used quite a bit, Luke chapter 2, verses 16 to 21. The line where it says, Mary kept all these things, reflecting on them in her heart. The impression I get is that there were just a few signs given to Mary. And whatever God, the light of the Lord, gave to her, she stored it away. And as something to be remembered. So to give her an idea of what God wanted her to do as the Son of Mary. And the fact that all the angels had visited the shepherds. Then the shepherds transmitted what the angels had sung to them, brought that message to Mary. Mary remembered that. So Mary does not have whatever is shown to Mary is the little we know likewise in the scriptures. Excuse me. This is the season of many ills. And they were very important to her, which calls us to recognize the ways in which the Lord has entered into our lives, to keep them as something sacred in us, to treasure the presence of the Lord in the various ways he has made himself known to us. When 8 days were completed for his circumcision, which was to say he was Jewish, very Jewish, he was named Jesus, the name given to him by the angel, before he was conceived in the womb. Really, Jesus enters in the human race not at Christmas time, but at the incarnation, at his conception, when Mary says yes, and then the Holy Spirit conceives in Mary's womb, through Mary, the presence, the human presence, the divine presence in Jesus. Going on to the Epiphany. Rise up in splendor, your light has come. The glory of the Lord shines upon you. Just wonderful verses. Transfer to the Magi. Isaiah, I think, is really perhaps talking about something else. That the Lord is bringing the people from the Babylonian captivity, and making known his presence. Then you shall be radiant in what you see, For the riches of the sea shall be emptied out before you. The wealth of the nations shall be brought to you. All from Sheba shall come, bearing gold and frankincense, proclaiming the praises of the Lord. The mightiness of the Lord shall be shown to all the nations. His light will be shown to all the nations. And all the nations will come to worship Yahweh, who was before only the God of Israel, the God of the Jewish people, and now is proclaimed the God of all peoples. In the psalm, a responsorial psalm, Lord, every nation on earth will adore you. And this prefigures the Magi bringing their gifts to Jesus. The Magi come into Bethlehem. This is quite a narrative where the darkness of the devil's hell meets the brightness of the divine presence of God the Father, the goodness of God the Father. When King Herod heard this, that they were seeking the newborn king of the Jews, Herod was greatly troubled. Darkness always wants to snuff the light. Persecution follows Christianity because it fears the brightness, the light of Christianity. That the truth will show the lie to be what it is. Further on, now these words are hellish words from Herod. Go and search diligently for the child. When you have found him, bring me word, that I too may go and do his homage. This man wants to kill Jesus. This man is slime. This man is a stinking garbage. This man is a vicious lie. He is the human presence of Satan himself, trying to destroy the presence of God in this world. But the light reappears again when it's out of the realm of darkness, of Herod's realm. They were overjoyed at seeing the star. When they go and they visit, and on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother. They prostrated themselves and did him homage. Then they opened their treasures and offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They're worshiping the divine presence. They had prostrated themselves before him. They worship him, calling us to be citizens of the world. We have seen the light, and we have come to worship him likewise. Having been warned in a dream that not to return to Herod, they departed for their country by another way. This particular day is Monday, December the 28th, and of course we celebrated this morning the Feast of the Holy Innocents. Herod was enraged once he realized that the Magi were not coming back. But the forces of evil are let loose. And all those 2 years and younger in that area, male children, are murdered by Herod. The light at odds with the darkness. The truth at odds with the lie. Backwards, going back to St. Paul's letter to the Ephesians. We now, it has been revealed to Paul, and Paul reveals it to the whole world, that the Gentiles are co-heirs, members of the same body and co-partners in the promise in Christ Jesus through the gospel. God is the God of all. And if we accept him as the God of our life and live that life, that faith reality each day, putting our lives in the hands of God daily, we become co-heirs because we have declared him, God the Father, to be our Father, and we his sons and daughters. God love us. Thank you, dear Lord, for all the goodness you do. Amen.